Hello, thank you for coming by Tory Magoo 44. Today is the 9th of October, and I'm here with Mr. John Dries, and it is the shocking truth. Again, today we're going to be doing the shocking truth about part of the Sea Organization. John, you were in the Sea Organization for how long?
I was in the Sea Organization for about 9 years, I think. I think it was like I joined in 1970, and then I left in fall of 79, so 9 years.
Yeah. He was actually my cramming officer and a bunch of people's at Celebrity Center, and which means he did the corrections on our auditing that we did, which is counseling as auditors. We were auditors, and then he would go to John and he would help us. So that's how I met you, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, at old Celebrity
And
Center.
Ray Midoff wasn't he the CS then, back then?
Well, Ray Midoff was the cramming officer up until about 73. I think I might not have my years straight, but he was the cramming officer until 73, and then I replaced Ray Midoff as the tech cramming officer. And Ray audited for a while, and then became CS. Eventually became the senior CS, and then the deputy God. CS or whatever he is. He's now the super senior CS.
No, now
I think he's in the hole.
Yeah, now he's in the hole. Yeah. Which, for anybody who doesn't know, that they're locked up, and it's a lot of the executives are locked up in the hole. Okay, so I know there's a lot of different shocking truths regarding the Sea Org, but what would some of them be that you would mention? I mean, how did you get in? What was the main attraction?
Well, see, that's a really interesting question, and
make sure you're in the picture.
I see. I'm fading. Okay. I'm not used to being videoed, but how did I get in the Sea Org? Well, I got recruited into the Sea Org in 1970. I think it was about September 1970, when I was in San Francisco. I had been in Scientology for about a year and doing some beginning courses, started the Dianetics course. And the funny thing is, and this is really strange and weird, and I've tried to remember being recruited into the Sea Org, but I cannot remember it. I can't recall what happened. I can remember what I was thinking. So I'm thinking, well, okay, we're going to clear the planet, and that's a noble cause, and I seemed to come to the conclusion somehow that was the only ethical thing to do. See, and I thought, wow, that's a really chivalrous thing to do. I'll go clear the planet, and I was recruited to the Sea Org at Celebrity Center in Los Angeles because they needed staff. And
what does that mean, clear the planet?
Okay, clear the planet. That's a good question. So the word clear is really an old computer term. It means to erase part of a program that a computer is running on. And the word in Scientology, Dianetics, is from the book Dianetics: The Modern Science of Mental Health,
which isn't a science.
It isn't. No, it isn't. It's a pseudoscience. It's a fake science, utterly and completely fake. But it used the word clear, which was this word that came from computer science at the time. See, and you had the UNIVAC and the ENIAC, like 1949, 1948, and from World War II, the first computers, and you would clear things out of computers and program in a different way. So clear meant that the things that are the cause of all your problems are taken away and erased. And Hubbard said, well, the sole source of our problems is something I've discovered, through hundreds of case histories and fantastic research, in the occult and the sciences and engineering and physics and stuff like this. Is that,
of course, no scientists have acknowledged that.
Right, is that everything bad about you actually comes from a thing called the reactive mind. See? Right, which me saying it sounds really stupid. You see, I mean, that's just ridiculous, right? Yeah, Halloween. Okay,
but spooky things.
It's the reactive mind, and the reactive mind is kind of a computer from hell. See, it computes wrong, it gives you wrong answers. See, it's just a bad computer, and you have this bad computer, and everything bad about you, like all your phobias, your fears, your shyness, your antagonism, your hostility, your tendency to get mad, your psychosomatic illnesses, your neuroses and psychosis come from this reactive mind. It's all neatly in one place. So if we've discovered exactly where it is, and not only that, but Hubbard discovered that, conveniently you can erase things from this reactive mind as if it were a primitive computer.
Now, is that true?
No, that is completely and utterly false. But it's one of those things. It's a real simple idea. See, it's a too good to be true idea, which people should have recognized. It's too good to be true, and I certainly should have, but didn't. So, clearing is somebody who has had the entire content of his reactive mind sort of vacuumed out, and the reactive mind itself no longer exists. And so, if you got rid of the source of everything that's wrong with you, then nothing is wrong with you, and you are clear. See, in other words, you don't all that stuff that was wrong with you is gone. See, and you have markedly increased IQ. Like you're at least a near genius. Right? You have fantastic perception. You don't need glasses anymore. You don't have any more psychosomatic illnesses. And Hubbard said, most illness really was psychosomatic. Like asthma and arthritis
and epilepsy.
Epilepsy.
They tried to run
that would all be gone.
Purely psychosomatic.
As a result of achieving this wonderful state of clear, and you would pretty much always be happy. Also, that was a big thing. Because I wanted to always be happy. God, that's great. I'd love to always be happy. So I wanted to be clear, and you'd be able to solve problems that would just be too difficult for a normal average human. You know what I mean? You'd be probably really good at math, and you could just take a look at a room, close your eyes, and then remember everything in the room. Like
a perfect idea.
Yeah, like I would forget like what color is my shirt. I can only tell you because I'm looking at the video thing. But you know what I mean? It's like this crazy state of clear, and Hubbard called clear as a homo novus. You were another step up. You were another step up in evolution. Like here's the Neanderthal humans, and then homo novus. So anyway, that's clear. So if you could clear the planet, then there would be nothing wrong with the planet.
Yeah, he said there would be no war, right?
No war.
World without war.
People wouldn't be doing bad
crimes.
things to each other anymore. People wouldn't be unhappy. They'd be fantastically creative, wonderful, and everybody be friendly and smiling all the time, and people wouldn't be torturing each other and doing horrible things to each other, which unfortunately we are. And this really appealed to me, like, well, if this is possible, then that's what I should do, and somehow or other they convinced me that this was possible, and that's a whole different story. But I think that answers the question. We're going to clear the planet.
So you get in, now you're in, and part of it's okay, but then you mentioned it's sort of fear-based, right? That keeps
right.
you in, is that right?
Well, there's more to it. Yeah. So the Sea Org is a supposedly elite organization. So it's like you said. Well, you're in the top 10% of humanity, but I looked at it as being in the top 1/10 of 1% of humanity. You know what I mean? Like the top 10%.
That was only 10% because I have epilepsy.
That would be like those peasants, man. So it's elitist, and it appeals to your elitist, that elitist part of your reptilian brain, right. That's really fun to be better than everybody else. So it's what was your question originally? Oh, yeah.
Well, fear-based and how it keeps you there.
Yeah, so you're an elite organization. You're going to join all these. I'm out of the camera. Oh, God. You're going to join.
Perfect memory, too.
Yeah, that's right. Let's see, what color is my shirt? Yeah, it's an elite organization, so that's another appeal of it. You're going to join this really elite group, and it's going to be really tough. And the people at the top of the elite group are the elite of the elite, and they're going to help you achieve these high levels of consciousness, and you're really going to be able to help people. It's really a wonderful idea. And so you're thinking, well, part of you is thinking, wow, that's what I want to do. And then part of you is thinking, am I just full of shit or what? Part of you is experiencing doubt. And this happens continuously. This is an aspect of being in Scientology.
And isn't that a bit of a shocking truth? That you think you're the only one with this doubt, but truthfully, most people
that's
there.
a bit of the shocking truth. And if I wish I had notes, I would prepare this a little bit better. But you go from this sort of pseudo certainty that you really are, this really is going to work and really is what is promised, and it really works, which it doesn't, into this state of, my God, what have I gotten into? See, this is horrible. What am I doing?
And that's really scary, isn't it?
And you go back and forth. I did anyway, and I can't speak for everybody, but that is scary. You go back and forth from, wow, I'm doing the right thing, I'm really helping, which is a wonderful sort of feeling, to, this is all bullshit, you see. And in Scientology and in the Sea Org, honest truth, you go back and forth between these two states. You are a complex being. You do not stay in this one state of total belief all the time. But you can't, in Scientology, you can't talk about this state of doubt and queasiness and qualms, which gets worse and worse the longer you're in Scientology. You can't talk about it. If you do, you're in ethics trouble.
Yeah, it's a high crime.
See, two things can happen to you if you do start talking about your doubts. And when I was early on in the Sea Org, I did go and tell somebody, I'm having doubts about this whole thing. I had been in the Sea Org for about 6 weeks in Los Angeles at Celebrity Center. And I said, I'm really having doubts. And this guy the guy I went to was quite an understanding sort of guy, kind of a nice guy. And he said, yeah, well, everybody goes through those doubts. And what you got to do is you just go back to your post, and you got to work through it. It's something that happens that you get through.
Yeah, and Hubbard had that. The way out is the way through.
So I'm thinking, well, okay, I'll kind of go along with that, And he's a really nice, friendly guy, And so I went back to post, but the doubt didn't stop. You keep going back and forth between doubt, and the doubt gets worse and worse and worse, and really, horrific and unpleasant. So that was my story, kind of in Sea Org. And that's one of the shocking truths about Scientology and the Sea Org, is that people who are in the Sea Org and in Scientology go back and forth between this happy certainty, pseudo-certainty, that this technology actually works and does what Hubbard said it does, and this grave doubt, like, is this all really bullshit? Have I just been conned, you see? And it gets worse and worse because you wasted more and more of your life as you go along.
Right.
See? And that's one thing I think should be recognized about people in Sea Org and people in Scientology, is that they go back and forth. And what we want to do is reinforce the intelligent part of that, which is the doubt. See?
Right.
You should have
and
doubt.
Then it's okay
you should be
to
skeptical.
Doubt. It's not bad.
Yeah, it's a good thing to doubt.
Right.
And even if, let's say, you confront a Sea Org member or a Scientologist and they express no doubt, they're not likely to. They feel it. See? And you just tell them the truth. And you know that when you're gone and they stop being defensive, well, that helps them to get out eventually. They're not going to leave. They're not going to convert right in front of you, but they're eventually going to get out. So the doubt is there. That's all I wanted to say about that. That would be a shocking truth about the Sea Org.
I think it's a very good one, and thank you for sharing it.
Yeah.
So we're probably going to do more on the Sea Org and shocking truths, but this
there's
tons of them.
I can think of like 5 or 6 more.
All right, well, roll them off.
Huh?
Roll them off.
Well, one is that in the Sea Org, after you've been in it for a while, you're in a sort of a constant state of fear.
Okay, that you already said. We got it.
A state of fear. And the other thing is the amount of regimentation that you get in the Sea Org.
That's a big one.
See, it's just huge, and it's difficult to imagine unless you've been, or you were formerly a Nazi, or something like that. It would be that might be a little worse. Yeah, you'd be like home. And the amount of really high pressure mind control that you get in the Sea Org is another shocking truth, and we should go into that eventually.
We will.
But you do a lot of chanting in the Sea Org.
True.
You know,
That's
we
another
don't,
thing
we
we
don't
can
call
cover.
it. We don't call it chanting. Oddly enough, it's called Chinese school.
Right.
I don't know why it's called Chinese school. Maybe it's because it was similar to Chinese brainwashing during the Korean War or something. I don't know. But you do a lot of chanting of things.
It's true. Even the public do.
Yeah, you do a lot of chanting of things that aren't true. See? It's like you chant the awareness characteristics, and you chant over and over again the 10 points of keeping Scientology working, which we should do a special thing on that.
Yeah.
And I'd be better prepared and have notes. But, you know, those are some of the shocking truths.
Well, thank you. Well, we're
Plus,
going to do more.
Plus, you never get paid for it. Everybody knows that. Yeah, so we'll do
And you have shitty food, too.
Yeah.
Unless you're way at the top. And even then, they're screwed up, so it's tricky.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll have more of this on the Shocking Truth with the Sea Org, but thank you very much for sharing that.
Sure, you're welcome, yeah.
And if you have any questions or any more you'd like to hear, put it in the comments. All right? Okay.
Okay.
Peace out.
Thank you.
The Shocking Truth.